Government seeking expedited appeal hearing in constitutional ruling against DPP. A case management conference will be held in chamber at the Court of Appeal for a date to be set for an expedited hearing against the Constitutional Court's ruling on the second extension of tenure granted to Director of Public Prosecutions Paul Llewellyn. It's reported that the date being sought for the appeal to commence is next month. The court had ruled in April that an amendment to the Constitution in July last year to raise the age of retirement for DPP and the Auditor General from 60 to 65 was valid. However, the court ruled that in the amended giving Llewellyn the power to elect to remain on the job was null and void and of no legal effect. The DPP reached the age of retirement in 2020 but got a 3-year extension which ended in September 2023. She was on a second extension when opposition Member of Parliament Philip Powell and opposition Senator Peter Bunting challenged the amendment to the Constitution. The claimant sought a declaration that Llewellyn should not remain in office beyond September last year when her extension ended, and they were successful. Following the ruling, Llewellyn stepped aside to await the outcome of an appeal. Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions Claudette Thompson was appointed to act as DPP. In the grounds of appeal, lawyer for the Attorney General, who is the appellant, will be arguing that the retirement provisions and maintaining that intended retirements for all affected public officers such as DPP and the Auditor General are in alignment with Section 95 of the Constitution. The appellant is contending that the Constitutional Court erred in its decision and is seeking to have the decision squashed. King's Counsel Douglas Leaves have been retained by Llewellyn to represent her, and he will be applying for permission to argue on her behalf in the Court of Appeal. Opposition calls for government to intervene in employment dispute involving port workers. The opposition is again calling for the government to take immediate action to address the precarious situation facing workers at the Ports Management and Security Limited. Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine Fitzjackson said that despite making significant contributions to the nation's security, workers at the agency find their future in limbo after months of seeking a reasonable resolution to their employment concerns. Both the Port Authority and the Customs Department have yet to provide a clear pathway, leaving these workers facing potential unemployment and uncertainty, stated Jackson in a media release. The opposition spokesperson expressed that although the Port Authority granted the workers a meeting on May 4 to discuss their concerns, no tangible progress has been made, as according to Jackson, the intransigence of the Customs Department remains a major obstacle. Noting that the requests of the workers are neither unreasonable nor impractical, considering all factors, Jackson argued that it was inconceivable that the Customs Department's decisions and actions are reportedly made without the full knowledge of the Minister of Finance. With a termination date of June 30 looming, Jackson is charging that the Customs Department and the government appear to be deliberately ignoring the frustration and pleas of the workers. This approach seems to be a bad faith tactic to run out the clock and leave these Jamaican workers and their families in an appalling situation, stated Jackson. He said the Minister of Finance and the government must recognize that the well-being of these workers and their dependent families is at stake. They must decide whether they will let these families perish or demonstrate a spirit of humanity and care. The opposition is once again calling upon the Minister of Finance to intervene immediately and resolve this crisis. ACCM says law to prevent corporal punishment in homes is a direct overreach. The Association of Christian Communicators and Media says government's effort to curtail long-standing and acceptable disciplinary tools available to parents is a direct overreach. The group adds that this can only be seen as an effort to replace the role of parents in the home. The ACCM was reacting to a recent pronouncement by Justice Minister Delroy Talk indicating that government is seeking to introduce laws to prevent corporal punishment in homes. According to ACCM Vice President Byron Buckle, this is a deep concern as the family remains the foremost and primary unit of socialization, and the responsibility for the discipline of children must remain in and with the home. He is suggesting instead that the government urgently establishes a unit to focus on rebuilding the family and helping parents cope with the challenges of their children rearing in Jamaica. Mr. Buckle said, while the abuse of children must never be condoned, and that the long arm of the law must bring to justice any parent who abuses his or her child, slapping a child appropriately as part of disciplinary measure is not considered abuse. He noted that Mr. Chuck labels slapping children as wrong and said that the use of straps, whips, or belt must not be used to beat any child, and all form of slapping must be pulled from acceptable disciplinary measures. The association says the absence of a unit that focuses on family and works actively to slowly and halt the continued disintegration of the family structure within society could further increase indiscipline among children. It adds that unless the family is strengthened, celebrated, and encouraged to function as an effective and cohesive unit, children at risk and the societal framework will continue to weaken.
Well, the ACCM is concerned about this recent statement by Minister Chuck because our first alarm bell is that the government seems to be overreaching into the family. Families are sacred. Things wrong with the government trying to enable and assist parents in learning and understanding alternative methods of disciplining a child. But we're proposing to pass a law, I think, is an overreach. In our statement, ACCM, we have this is our third call for the government to set up a family unit somewhere in one of the appropriate ministries, or possibly even a commission of parliament, and empower that agency to work at developing and strengthening families. We don't want a knee-jerk reaction by a minister of justice to say you're going to outlaw parents from appropriately disciplining or slapping a child. Parents must know that they don't abuse, but you can't be going to the next extreme to lock it out altogether. You have different children. Some children you may very well have to apply some kind of slap at a certain appropriate degree and so on. Some children you don't need to do any at all. So why are you going to lock out one of the options? So building the proper protocols, establishes family unit, because there are lots of other issues apart from reaching the end about slapping. What are the other issues that cause a parent to end up abusing a child and so on? So we think it has to be an holistic approach and not an overreach and an overreaction by the government.
No data breach, says Speaker, amid security concerns. The Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICO, says allegations regarding potential breaches of the Data Protection Act lack merit. In a statement released on Monday, PICO shared that after conducting checks of its internal system, they have concluded that no breach has occurred. PICO firmly asserts that it has not violated any data protection regulations and maintains the highest information security standards. The statement read in part highlighting that at PICO, safeguarding the confidentiality and integrity of personal data is paramount. The agency went on to say that it operates under a robust framework to ensure compliance with all relevant data protection laws and regulations, and that its procedures strictly ensure the privacy and preservation of sensitive information. PICO's statement follows claims that information regarding the citizenship of People's National Party President Mark Golden was acquired through some sort of data breach. PICO says these claims are unfounded. We want to assure the public that PICO is fully committed to upholding the highest ethical standards when handling personal data. Our dedicated team undergoes regular training to stay updated on evolving security threats and best practices, the agency stated. This reinforces our commitment to maintaining the trust placed in us by the Jamaican people. As an agency entrusted with sensitive information integral to national security and immigration matters, PICO remains vigilant in its commitment to information security. It went on to highlight that as an agency that handles personal information, it is bound by local and international regulations for security and identities, and as such, it is continuously reviewing and enhancing security measures. PICO reiterates its unwavering dedication to maintaining the high standards of confidentiality, integrity, and security in all aspects of its operations. We remain transparent and accountable, ensuring that the public trust in our ability to protect their data remains steadfast. Its statements ended. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.